Hey, my name is Mike Sanford. I'm an instructor here at Alan Belcher MMA Club, and today I want to share a couple techniques with you that I think are really useful for a self-defense situation. These techniques are Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu based, but they're kind of altered a little bit for street clothes. Now in Jiu-Jitsu, we generally train in a gi, which represents street clothes. And it's kind of hard to picture that sometimes, so I actually have my friend today that's going to be helping us out. He's actually going to be wearing some common street clothes, so you can see how some of this stuff translates. Hope you enjoy it. All right, now we're going to work on a self-defense situation where our back is on the ground. And this could happen a number of different ways. It might be that I got knocked down with a sucker punch. I might have fell at some point during a fight. I might have been tripped. I might have been taken down. There's lots of situations where this could happen. And my opponent could be either standing over me or trying to get on top of you. Lots of different things can happen there too. We're just going to address a couple really common scenarios with this. It's also important to be aware of your surroundings and know how to stand up correctly. Now I'm just going to briefly demonstrate one of the proper ways to stand up. There's only really two good ways to stand up if you're in a fight. One is to stand in base, and this is something that you'll learn your first day of training in any Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, or mixed martial arts school. The other is to do a wall walk, which is basically standing in base and using the wall to help you. Right now I'm just going to demonstrate the proper way to stand in base, just so you guys know what I'm talking about here. So if I want to stand up and I'm in a self-defense situation or a fight of any kind, I need to keep my legs up in front of me. This is my guard. Even though it's not closed and wrapped around somebody, this is still my guard, and I still use this to protect myself. From here, I need to make space, get my opponent distanced away, and I'm going to put my hand to the ground here. And I'm protecting myself on this side with my shin and my arm, and on this side, I'm going to use my legs. See, I'm sitting to one hip. I'm leaning my weight on my hand, and the rest of my weight's on my foot here. I'm going to lift my hips off the ground. So I've got half my weight here and about half my weight here. I'm still protecting myself, and now if somebody's coming after me, I can kick into their knee, and then I'm just going to step this leg back and turn my hips towards the ground. Arm way outside, and now I'm up in base. Okay, this way if somebody's coming after me, they're not going to be able to knock me back down immediately. I'm not going to be off balance. So that's a good way to stand up and have balance at the same time. You want to be able to practice that and be able to do that fast. Again, there's a million instructionals out there on how to stand in base correctly, and you guys can check those out and make sure that you drill that. But right now we're going to focus on how to get on top of somebody when they're really putting pressure on you. Now, if you got somebody standing over the top of me, I can't just stand in base right away, especially if they're putting pressure on me and they're really trying to hurt me. So check it out. This is a couple things that I can do to kind of create distance and make him respect trying to push into me too hard. I'm going to use a little bit of striking off my back on the ground. Okay, so if Steven's over here, he's over the top of me here, I always want to block his hips, all right? His hips are everything. I want to keep his hips away. My leg's definitely longer than his arm, so as long as I'm kicking his hip back, he's not going to be able to hit me effectively here, okay? Now if he gets my feet off his hips, it's a different ballgame. So I want to definitely stay connected to his hips here, at least with one foot. Now I can use my other foot for different things. Depending on how close he is to me, I can even block his arm, I can block his chest, I can kick his face, I can kick his thighs, and I can kick his knees, all right? I don't like to kick with 2 feet at the same time because now I'm not controlling his hips. All right, yeah, I can do 2 kicks at the same time, and that might be more effective for landing shots, but at the same time, I'm going to be having shots landed on me. So I like to keep some defense on him, and I stay safe by keeping at least one foot on his hips while I use the other foot to kick and attack and throw off his offense here, okay, and make openings. Now we're going to get into a little bit of how to sweep somebody here. All right, now I've got this person standing over the top of me. I can be landing shots from my heel to the stomach, to the face, to the leg, to the knee. All of this stuff's going to kind of keep him back while I'm putting my foot on his hip. I don't want him to, if he clears that off his hip, I put my other one there. All right, I never want him to get both feet off of his hips. Now, this is what's going to allow me the opportunity to get on top of him. My favorite way to do this, it works really good if I grab his wrist, but I don't need to have his wrist. This is really effective as long as I do it fast. What I'm going to do is whatever foot is closest to me, I wait till he gets kind of close to me. If I can push him away and stand up, I'll stand up, and I'll attack him standing up. But if I can't really push him away, he's staying in really tight to me, that's when I'm going to do this kind of stuff. I'm here, I'm going to grab the ankle closest to me. I don't want to stay here too long because now I've got an opening. Now I'm not protecting myself anymore. So when I grab here, I got to act fast. Right away, my other foot's going to hook behind his other knee. See that? And I've got this foot on his hip. So I'm grabbing his ankle on this side, I'm hooking his leg on this side, and I've got this foot right on his hip here. Now that I've got all this, I'm going to kick this foot, knocking his hip backwards, but I'm blocking both of his legs from stepping backwards. The result is his hips go backwards, but his feet don't, so he falls. So I'm here, kick this back, boom, and then from here, I'm just going to follow right to the top. See how he goes right up to his knees? I'm just going to grab his hips. Very common reaction. I want to jump right onto his hips. Okay? Now, if he's a trained fighter, he's probably not going to try to get right up like that. He's going to try to use his guard and do what I did. All right? But if he's not a trained fighter, if he's just kind of a street brawler, or if he's just trying to get right back up to his feet because he wants to punch you, that's exactly what he's going to do. He's going to turn away and try to get right back up to his feet. So I want to be able to follow up and attack that right away. I'm here, foot on his hip, kick, block, whatever I got to do, grab the closest ankle. All right, if it's the other side, I go to the other side. If it's the other side, I keep this foot on his hip, I go here. Okay, I'm blocking the other side. And now from here, I'm gonna hook his knee, I'm gonna kick back, and I'm gonna pull and pull. Okay, as he comes up to his knee, see how I sit up? I swing this leg to help me sit up, and I'm gonna jump right up and grab his hip, and control. So I get my thumb inside of his collar, and from here, all I'm gonna do is start to pull him back towards me. Now I could do a forward roll and take him over, but it's easier if I pull him back towards me. So I can grab his leg right here by the ankle, I can grab his arm. I'm just gonna start to pull him back off his base. I'm gonna bring my knee up behind his neck. Okay, once I've got my knee behind his neck, I'm gonna put pressure forward, I'm gonna pull the collar back. I get a tap while I'm holding his arm in place. It makes it very hard for him to defend. Come back up. So there's lots of ways to do this, but one really simple one. I'm here, I've got his wrist, I've got his collar, I grab his wrist, I'm gonna start to pull his wrist out, I'm gonna pull him backwards to his side, I bring my knee up behind his neck. Just like this, I'm gonna pull this collar across his neck while I'm holding his wrist in place so he can't defend. I'm gonna push my knee into his neck and get a very fast tap and put him to sleep very fast. One more time. I'm here, I go to his wrist, I pull it out, pull him backwards, knee behind his neck, pull, and I push my knee forward as I hold his wrist in place so he can't defend. Here, I get a very fast tap. All right, so that's just a really basic scenario that could happen in a self-defense situation where, if you got into a bar fight or a street fight or something like that, and somebody's trying to hurt you, you can use this to get off your back and actually end up finishing the fight, put the person unconscious real fast without hurting your knuckles, without hurting the person. Okay, so this is something that's really useful to have and really useful to understand. Just pay attention to the details. It's a pretty simple technique. Some of the techniques in jiu-jitsu and MMA can get a little bit more difficult. This is one of the simplest ones, but it's very, very effective. Now, in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, like I said, you train in the gi. The gi does represent street clothes. And I kind of used Steven wearing a wife beater. It could be a t-shirt, it could be a jacket. It doesn't matter what it was. That choke's going to translate to anything that you wear that has a collar. All right, same thing with the gi. The gi translates to anything that has a collar. Sometimes you just have to grab more material than others. And I'm going to do some more videos that demonstrate some of the different gi chokes that are out there on t-shirts, wife beaters, jackets, things like that, so it makes it easier to understand. Now, in addition to that, some of these techniques are different than they would be in Jiu-Jitsu. And the main reason being, in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu competition, there's no striking and there's lots of rules. In self-defense, there's not that many rules. So a lot of it's more close to mixed martial arts, where there's less rules. And obviously, even further than that, you have to take into consideration that in a street fight, somebody might be trying to kill you. Somebody might have weapons, they might have friends, multiple attackers. Things like that always change the situation, and we have different ways to address those different situations. So I'm going to put out some more videos that address some of those different scenarios and kind of cover the way that you'd handle those. Now, it's really easy to let your guard down when you live in an area like I do, like in the Mississippi, Gulf Coast, like Ocean Springs, Gulfport, Biloxi, D'Iberville, St. Martin. There's not a whole lot of crime, so it's easy to let your guard down, and that's not a good idea. You always want to have your guard up. Crime can happen anywhere. If you live in a high crime area, you're more expecting to have to use this kind of stuff. But even in a low crime area, this is the kind of thing that could happen to you. You could get sucker punched walking, through a club at night. You could. Somebody might want to carjack you. You want to be prepared for that. The mental state is the most important thing in self-defense. You have to be mentally prepared to defend yourself. If you're not, it's going to throw off everything, and you're not going to be able to use even techniques that you know. So you want to always keep yourself mentally prepared. Now, we do offer self-defense classes and jiu-jitsu classes and competition classes and mixed martial arts, all that stuff at Alan Belcher MMA Club. That's where I teach. It's in Biloxi, Mississippi. If you're ever in the area, come on and stop down, and I'd love to train with you. We do a 30-day free trial right now, too, so take advantage of it. And I'll see you around.